I'm Bob Kilpatrick. This is my house. I wanted to share with you in these study guides from here because this is where the book was formed. It wasn't formed in a laboratory, but in my life. Not in theory, but in practice. We lived it. We talked about it a lot in our family and among our friends. As you know already, the book starts with the funeral of my father at Arlington National Cemetery. You know, we tend to think about the big issues of life during times of upheaval and crisis. Happens to everybody. In fact, I'm kind of a book nerd. I was really waiting for the phone call that would tell me, your books are here, because I just wanted to hold it, you know? And I finally got that call, standing by the bedside of my brother, who at the age of 49 had a massive stroke and died. Upheaval and crisis happens to everybody. And it's in those times that we begin to shape our theology. Our theology is so much shaped by what we lack, what we need in times of crisis. I have a need. I'll ask God to fill that need. I have a lack. I'll ask God to give me something. You know what that is? That's a transaction. It's a trade. It's math. If we say simply and only, Jesus paid for my sins, that's like saying Jesus bought me lunch. We're always asking God to pick up the tab. But there's more to the gospel than that. But that's where we live. We tend to live in math. Problem plus solution equals happiness. We preach this way. We testify this way. You know, I had a problem. I found the solution. Now I'm happy. We witness this way. You have a problem. If you'll accept the solution right now, you'll be happy. But you know what? We know this doesn't work, because if it worked, there wouldn't be any grumpy Christians. But I am one sometimes. Maybe you are too. There's more to the gospel than just Jesus paying for our sins. He wants to go beyond that. He wants to free us from our sins. That's better than just buying you lunch, isn't it? I talk about math and art in the book, but let me put it another way. Transaction versus formation. Is God just wanting to transact business with you, or is He wanting to form you into something beautiful and good? Is it just a producer and a consumer, or is it a potter and a clay? Maybe God is an artist. I think so. Years ago, in the late 80s, I had the privilege of being with Pastor Jack Hayford in an intimate setting with just a few leaders. He told us about how the Israelites were promised so much land when God led them across the river into the promised land. And even though they were promised so much, they only occupied a little sliver of it, just a small bit. And Pastor Jack's question for us is the question that I want to pose to you as well. He said, will the borders of your life equal the borders of God's promise? God is calling you into an adventure, maybe a dangerous adventure, to step across the border of your life, to step into the unknown, to step into a surrendered life to Him, to let Him form you and shape you into good and beautiful art. So, will the borders of your life equal the borders of God's promise? Is the crucifixion and resurrection just the end of a transaction or the beginning of a new life? How is your idea of God shaped by your need, your lack? Can you see problem plus solution equals happiness at work in your own life? Where have you been praying for a solution that you can now begin to pray for creation? Where is your identity? Is it in your purpose, approval of others, riches, fame, achievements? And lastly, what does your best life look like?